perfect design. Welcome to the future location of Master Source Industries. 55 Putney Road. A vast investment into this performing artist produces the Breathamask XR. And through the laboratory and the exploration of Hatch Pan versus the world, the series of the most the most wonderful thing is going to occur. And I will be working with people on environmental solutions. I guarantee we're going to have that breakthrough. But the way it happens, it's a quilt work of things. I am guaranteeing that I have actual provincial solutions. You guys, the shape of identity of humanity is displaced by a triggering of the junk DNA in reflection of the gatekeeper unmet. And this is a very advanced material of Earth, and Earth is very excited to have you guys here. It's totally important for the humans to get enlightened like this, and this is why the Where map was chosen to jettison the leverage of the intellectuals, the producers of the South Park Circle. Welcome, you guys. I'm really grateful that you're here. Just wanted you to take some reason in these things. Hatch is not just merely a wordsmith. We know a lot about everything. So let's just really armor up from within. There's like a storm of lightning. Imagine like all this energy, flickering colors, blue and pink. Oh, it's going through your brain. There's like a cloud in your brain, and it's making you healthier. It's making you lucky. The future is brighter. Oh, you're changing tomorrow. You're changing it. All right, you guys. This is the type of applied science here, but I think what I'm trying to get at is that we can tell Hatch is different. Also, he's saying, there's images in the map that are speaking to me and about a lot of stuff. And it's like when I look at the map, the Earth communes with me and talks to me about like, oh, what should we talk about today and stuff. And we want to perfect the hidden crown of Trey Parker for the Where map. There is some masculine vocabulary I'd like to clarify right now. Yes, it is true. The circle of producers, we are the closest that we have ever been to reaching an agreement to produce Hatch. And that, just being optimistic and moving forward is also aligning with the evidence that that is true, right? So here we are today, but that doesn't make it wrong. And I'm not like, it's not like a wordsmith where I'm like, oh, because I can actually tell that you guys are intense. You're like, we are upset about the pandemic and the environmental crisis. So you're saying you have solutions for both of these things. We're very interested to hear that. And so I'm here to present on those things because we have like one foot in hell. And I understand it. All right. So what I'm saying is though, so for example, you guys in your old familiar language, um, Trey had an inspirational reaction to Hatch, and you guys were like, "Oh, this is great." But what you need to intuit now, in now that you have perspective, it's like 3 years after Trey had a reaction where it's like, "Oh, this guy, he sent me a silver violin. This is so cool. We have to do this." And it was literally, I think that was the best South Park episode I've ever seen. Is the one uh, uh the devil gets summoned up because of it was so good, you guys. That was such a and he was talking about Red Dead Redemption too. And what's so weird about that, because I've been working with Good Deeds Arcade, Cold True, enlightening the prismatic bodies and empowering the game characters to have their own landscape because they need to survive. When you shut off the video game, their soul literally evaporates in this weird way. So I needed to give them some structure. At any rate, it's weird because in my room, I'm looking at it right now, the map of the western border states, the legend of the map is there. Red Dead Redemption 1. I actually I played that thing religiously, and I was working with the characters, and but I have like a PlayStation 3. So when the new version came out, I watched it right when it came out on YouTube, which is kind of it's actually very immersive meditation and very concise for me, especially because of lots of things because I'm interested in game physics and stuff. So to me, it all of these things align to let me know that Trey was very much the sort of chosen one. But it appears now that he's the chosen one of 2021. All right, so we are on time. The thing is not lost, it's just sort of changing through time. But also the physics of time on Earth, the physics of identity images, everything is uh, in a flux that only belongs to the authentic, legit residency. And the best way to attain that is by aligning with the gatekeeper unmet and producing Hatch. So if you guys produce Hatch, you're going to enlighten all humanity. Be like, hey, we're not triggered by our squiggly spooch. We can totally understand what this guy's saying. And we're transcending those timing. And, here we are in a meditation. Let's armor up like a tank. Boom. Like from a source that is your truly yourself. Boom. You armor up and you fill up the room. The entire room is full of your soul. Armor yourself because it's not like right now that you might get spiked. It's actually like an hour from now when you're like, wow, that was a great meditation with Hatch, and I'm really excited about the Breathe the Mask XR, 50% for Trey Parker. That's like $1 billion, you guys. This is a good investment in humanity. This is a good investment in our future. It's good for our company. This is a good nest egg. This is good. Hey, this is American, and Hatch is an American stallion, and I'm proud to produce him. All these things are aligning in this year. Millie the Outlaw, she is my caliber of the female transcendent. Uh, all of my characters resonate through Millie, and we've prepared to make our own CGI skeletal transform to further our pursuit. So, essentially, it really is for the self to identify these things, and so for Trey's like, it's really important that we produce Hatch, and we are the big American producers. We're not scared of millions of dollars. Okay, that's kind of what we do, because it's amazing. Because how can you just sort of in a year's time make, oh, I don't know, like $20 million? How do you make $20 million? Well, you have to spend $3 million. Oh yeah, well that's the work of a producer. Okay, so what we're talking about is really smart. How do you just make, $50 million? Well, technically you'll have made $53 million, but you have to subtract the dividend there. Okay, so we're talking about viable business. So armor up like a tank, because in an hour from now you're gonna be like, I'd really like to watch some, I'd like to watch some commercials. All right, and then you get brainwashed, and then you suddenly arrive to a point where you're talking to Trey Parker, and Trey's like, "So, what do you think about the project?" And you're like, do you remember that episode of Welcome Back, Carter? Do 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 do." And you start acting like a fucking idiot, and then Trey Parker's like, "Oh, so you're not really feeling it," and so you just end up whispering to Trey in parasite whispers, and Trey's like, "I'm pretty sure we're talking about a $50 million profit margin," and Trey's like, people are just wasting days. Like, oh, I haven't gotten around to that. Was I supposed to fill out some paperwork? Or are we supposed to talk to the talent? Because basically, all right, and that's why 55 putting is so important. And you guys would think like, well, actors usually, actors. Now, Hatch isn't an actor; he's a realist. If we really put him into this building, this house, it becomes the set. It becomes the answer. It becomes the solution. It becomes the story that provides everything that's needed for these characters to introduce the Breathe the Mask XR. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I'm excited to meet. Oh, yeah, I am eventually planning to get into Pokey Puppy cartoons. That's part of my sensuality as the Vampire King and the glorious. All right, so the glorious Residency of Earth. It's a battle, and the Vampire King won. There's no question that we have the upper hand. We're just at that we're at a turning point where humanity is going, "Ooh, okay, okay. So we would like to align with Hatch. We would like to have a working relationship. And you guys are my best friends because you're willing to throw down like 3 million on this project. Because you're like, I know it in my bones. I can feel it. This is important for me. This is important for all of us. And I support Trey Parker. Absolutely. So you stand on that fact, which means that eventually, that's why I always say perfect design. And I talk to you guys about, and let's do some troubleshooting. Let's think ahead, because that stuff is going to come around. You see, it's a cumulative, and you guys need to stop acting like a Mark Lar from a diamond planet. You know what I'm saying? Fucking welcome home to America, where you got a little fucking wizard living in your head going like, this shit's for real, man. You gotta assemble this thing. All right? You gotta listen to that wizard, because the recourse is horrible. Now, we are the adults being burned in hell for like, oh, it's an environmental crisis. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. That's because we're the warriors that are going to protect our children from death. Because in 100 years, there's an Armageddon invasion the size of extinction. Do you want your children to go extinct? No! No, we do not want our children to go extinct. Well, that's why we're in hell in 2021, where it's just a bit too hot and a bit inconvenient, with thousands of people dying every fucking day. And I can't stand it anymore. That's why you need to produce Hatch with gusto, and that's exactly what's needed. It is not inappropriate, it is on time. It is on time to produce Hatch immediately, because the sooner we produce Hatch, the sooner the Breathe the Mask XR gets on those kids' face, because it has to be cool. It has to be a social revolution. Remember, it's like um, it's like the new hat. All right, you guys, service pub. All right, so maybe that's not okay. I want to talk about that. The new hat, the Breathe Mask XR. It's like a fashion trend where people are like, oh, what we realize is like it's a respiratory sickness. Even if you have the shot, it's still not great to just be sharing breath with a bunch of other people who are on variable levels of different. They're handling their shit, and for their body, they're getting along. We all have this sort of familiarity with our body. All right, and some people are able to get along tacky with a certain amount of infection, or they've got some petri dish going on there. All right, and I'm just saying that in the year 2022, the philosophy, okay, so in a year's time from now, the philosophy of how to survive in this type of pandemic is going to be advanced. And we're just now seeing the edge of Delta Plus and how it's threatening us, and the inconvenience of a lot of things that are truly upsetting. Well, this is the emotional thread of Before the Flood. This is where we can turn the tide and save our children and keep our world with Residency. So Hatch is this residency physics character, and I mean, that's one of the best things about humanity is we really do have residency physically. So the humans are holding the place. They're like, yep, we live here on the surface. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get to the. All right, I'm excited to hang out with you guys. I feel really good. Oh, drinking some coffee, starting up my things. All right, before I perform, I always sort of armor up and I communicate with my paintings. I've got a couple paintings in the kitchen actually, and very powerful ones. And what I do is I have this one that's a round painting, and I put on these certain marks, and then I have this old paintbrush with my own hairs on it, tethered like this, and it's amazing like magic wand. And anyway, so I have some things on there, and I rearrange it, and then I take that weird brush and I drop it, and it goes, "Grrr," and then there's a painting behind the round one on the right, and there's like this little springtrap doggo. There's a little picture of a doggo, and you can see his little nose poking out. He's like one of these a guardian of these larger characters that are there. But I have to turn it's actually like a lazy Susan. So I have to turn it until because I drop the brush, and then the butt end of it, I turn it to align with the dog's nose, and then I brush the brush on the back of my hand. I know it sounds like OCD, but let me just tell you about this because I just love it so much. Anyway, that's the way that I sort of like prepare. I like optimize this day. I have a thing and that's identity, and it's, hands-on technology. It actually does prepare me for the presentation. It's not like I can't go with, look at the news. Oh yeah, that's gonna give you some good inflection. You're just gonna be a chowderhead responding to like a bunch of people going, yeah, 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 you have to be yourself. You have to be an idol. You have to be professional in this. Sorry, it's like a collision of inspirational wants. I think at this point, a lot of people are like, "Well, just like hang out with us for a little bit." That overtook my urge to talk about how the Breathe Mask XR is as light and malleable as a bowler cap. And I was gonna make this weird joke, but it became British, like Burger King. And but like it's embarrassing because like I'm trying. Like I was gonna make this joke, but it just wasn't funny. So I was like, oh, I'll just talk about my method because that was one of my other ideas. I was like, what if I actually told them that I do stuff to make sure that we're all getting our ups? You guys, that's how we find communion. That's how we find friendship. Is like everyone, welcome to this wizard's table. Everyone's being respected here. So let me just share with you guys a little bit more of my method. Of course, oh my gosh, it just started raining. Right before I started to record, I could hear distant thunder and lightning. I was like, "Oh, that's a good sign. Let's get some ideas on there." I guess you could say my body is in ecstasy, and I love you guys so much. All right, so you guys have got uh, some. Let me just I just want to shoot those things off your shoulder. I love you guys. I'm a sharpshooter. Your identity image is the solution. What humanity is doing and the chowderheads, they're like, oh, this graph, the diamond planet, oh, we have these ghosts. And I'm like, well, what about you? And they're like, no one, like, who really listens to all that? And it's weird because I actually have to perform a Zen following because I believe that where my hand goes, my ghost also follows, trapped inside the epidermal confinements of my surface tension. So what I do with my hand there, my ghost is forced to follow. And so that's how I'm able to write things that the anatomy doesn't allow to have even happen. So that's how I was able to, you have to actually willfully say like, oh, I'm doing something beyond the chowderhead. I have to be an individual. But the weird thing is about the individual, especially in humanity during this, oh yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a vortex, right? Is you have to keep practicing that and reinforcing your identity of being a wordsmith and, oh, I'm wearing luck. Well, that's actually really good. Those wordsmiths are good, but I also think that the practice it. But then people are like, oh, this sounds like OCD. Really? Like I'm talking about confirming my soul, and this is vital proteins that help you to avoid sickness, accident, uh, bad luck, a lot of things. Okay, I'm up from within. Oh, I know that I'm a lucky bear. Everywhere I go, I bless people. I'm burnt out on uh, the human expression. They are patterned in their. They have the same tweak. You understand? Well, you don't. Well, you do. You do understand. Okay. So Hatch represents a new generation and a new voice. You know, we're talking about time travel a lot, so really when we want to sense the opulence, it's not. That's there's some confusion. And I'll get back to those two stories. There was some confusion about um, the reasons of masculine approach. Like, I know it seems to you guys, and you're behaving as if Hatch was a fan, a fanboy. Sorry, I mean I am a fan of Trey now. I'm a fan of Trey now more than I was before. I mean I'm just a weird person, so like I don't dislike you guys. All right, so is that cool? All right. But like I know you guys think that like, oh, Hat, watch out, like we have, oh, like you guys think that I was attracted to Trey's masculine seed, and that's a big no-no to begin with. Why is this man wanted to work with this other man? Okay, so there's a lot of confusion there, but it was because of the wear map. which was the hidden crown, which is what you guys murdered because you thought it was why is he approaching the seed? If and you need to figure out your own seed, bro. I'm here to tell you about reality and society. Like you guys think like I'm some angry person trying to attack society. I'm angry at society, so I'm going after Trey Parker. And you guys are like, oh yeah, that's how we know about that. Okay, but Hatch is actually the diadem of the earth, the singularity, and a one-of-a-kind gentleman. So you guys are confused about that corpuscle blade, which makes you have no hope because you don't understand why Hatch is different or why Hatch can have the solution for the CO2. But when we align Hatch, that actually physically transcends your junk DNA because your junk DNA is designed to attack Hatch, and I've had a very difficult life because of that. But also, become a very powerful angel. And through my work, I've built hospitals and armored myself in a way to control the sounds that occur. And then this becomes a sort of standardized universal healthcare. So, yeah, you guys could go on believing, oh, Hatch is a hermit and he's over there and he's working. Hey, things are getting better. Don't be such a naysayer. I can tell things are getting better somewhere. There's actually Hatch working away in his lab all alone because no one's able to endure his encounter. Oh, I'm getting triggered. I can't speak. And you guys look to me like broke, like you're like, we are confessing that we are broken. We cannot speak. We cannot perform. We cannot control our hands. We cannot understand finances. We do not do our own suit. We don't do us. We kill children. Like oh, I didn't mean to. Oh, because you're not psychic. You're not psychic. So something larger. Not my way, God's way. Okay, so God's way comes over and goes like, yeah, you guys are about to face extinction, the environmental crisis, and this type of pandemic. All right, but it's before the flood. Oh, so we're not dead yet, right? But the problem is I'm stuck with a bunch of old people who are like, oh, we know what this, we know. Oh, you know. Oh, yeah. Oh, so the Ware map was the reason why I was attracted to Trey, right? Because the Earth made a choice, and that was very exceptional. And of course, after the deadlights rose, the the Earth is very intuitive about a progress ratio. And the good news is that Earth has true love with humanity because our junk DNA is also an immunity. Also, while it is like it can like our junk DNA in the 90s or something, we get hit by the diamond planet or whatever, and it causes a wave and a rash, and then oh we have reality TV and people are like doing something else that's so stupid, but it's just like that doesn't mean that we're like caused by that shit, you know? And so it's a bunch of evidence, but it's not really the answer to identity. And so what these remote hackers think they're doing is they're like, we're trying to inspire the universe. We're trying to fix the black hole decay. What, by smothering the souls of children? That's not how it works, Buster. Big problems there. So they think that they're the environmental conservatory and they're concerned about our use of energy. But to me, it's like a dirty old monster, the earth, just kind of covers himself with garbage and just fucking leave me alone. It's like all these satellites. Earth is pissed. Earth is lonely. Also, Mars and Venus, they used to sing a song. These like little plants, you put an eigen frequency thing on it, you can hear the music that comes from trees and plants and stuff. Man, that's such a resource. I'd like to open up a lab in 55 Putney where because you can change the like what the song is, the sound that comes out from eigen frequency. I want to use that for a lot of my audio tracks because these plants, they can hear it and they can feel it when you interact with them. Um, so I want to experiment with that as like the instrument, right? Like water them, and they start going me 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 me, and so then you have like a theme song is like right when we water it, let's have the moment when the angel comes out and goes, oh hi, like we'll have all these great times, right? So I really want to experiment with the eigen frequency gain capture because it can be hours of music, but we can also hear music from other planets. They make a sound like but the Mars and the Venus are both now have a type of dead song. So the Earth is just kind of like, whereas Earth grew up with three habitable planets, and they would rotate, and they'd have like alignments, and Earth would say "Hi," and they would kiss and stuff, like planets do. And it's just really upsetting that our home planet was attacked like this, and um, but it's great. The humans are perfect. They just don't really, they don't know. This is actually essential. You need to produce hatch urgently. Plug in the Christmas tree. Bum, 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 bum. Everything's going to spring back to life, you guys. Hatch is a revolution and a renaissance and all this good stuff. And it starts a sequence of enlightenment. We're leading up to the the big Aquarius, the enlightenment of the universe, which is kind of why humanity during I'm kind of like a pilot of this airplane of the world, and we're going through some turbulence, and sure enough everyone in on as a passenger, they are totally cool, and they just hold on to the seat, and they're like, oh, we'll get through it, and they don't complain. They don't start woo, like they're really good people. But we've had some hard times, and it's just like, and people are like, oh, we understand, but it's like, what you need to understand is you need to produce hatch immediately, because the Breathe Mask XR is the first product, and I'm saying it's going to be like a revolution, like Hatch makes it really cool because Hatch is this character, but it's so effortless because we're also inaugurating Hatch's first kiss with all humanity and being like, "Hey, look how cool Hatch is," and let that angel happen, and just we'll stand on the truth, and that's all we have to do. Oh, you guys don't have to believe that I'm it's okay, like just be yourself, and that's the solution. Um, So this with this crappy British joke, I was gonna say like, remember, the invention of the bowler cap and how that was really popular. Remember that? No, no, we don't. No, it's England, right? So, but I'm saying it's like the Breathe Mask XR is gonna be lightweight, and it fits on your head. Like basically, it fits. Like I was thinking maybe it has like some spring things, like it fits onto your head like maybe like a semicircle, it just feels good. It's lightweight, and it's nice because it has Bluetooth to your cell phone, and you have an app, and you can set up your features, and you can change it, and you can even do like graphics that other people see, or you're like, like little waving hands or whatever. But just imagine like changing the entire perceivable. That's revolution. That's societal revolution. And because of definition, but honestly, if we cater to people's perspectives, we're going right to the source, and we're armoring them, or we're armoring our soldiers. And it's an industry 50-50 with Trey Parker. You guys, it's worth billions of dollars because people are like, this is awesome. It's like a PlayStation 5 on my face, and you can earn a living. You can even get famous. We're going to have and that's going to help my streaming service go up because the whole, like, this other aspect of it, and what I want to do is automate this thing in such a way where people are working with it, and we have like a thing that renders down like a video, and it uploads, and it's kind of cool because it had somehow like it's really well done. And if you get enough thumbs up, then you can get like a gratuity check, or you start getting popular because we're promoting the Breathe the Mask XR. So a lot of that stuff. Okay. But like the bowler hat, this thing is going to be a revolution to the way people look and the way that they're interacting. It's a social thing. You can make phone calls. There's because of XR. Okay, the technology of XR requires that the technology has a camera looking forward. And what I want to also do is that we also want to track the facial expressions. We already have like um, the virtual reality unit that I'm wearing right now has a camera that looks right at my eyeballs, and I'm not using a program that utilizes it right now, but it's there. So I'm saying is that this is not unfamiliar. But when you have, a thing where there's a camera recording your facial expressions and a camera looking forward, this is for the mapping of XR. When you have a program that is, like, it'll just like sometimes it will recognize an object and then like animate it, or like a house starts coming to life or something, and you're like, oh, but it will have to be developed by, and that's a renaissance for work. It's going to bring back the economy, you guys, and bring back the confidence of people to go to school or to go to work. Especially, this is going to preserve our cities. Now, as Delta Plus is definitely explaining itself as a problem in s- more power and more closely uh, populated areas. So it began in India. We were like, oh, India, and then it happened in the okay, in England. I'm surprised it's not happening in Japan, but Japan has a relationship with masks, and they have this a different, and so that it really is good. So what I'm talking about is making, humanity has a wicked accent from the 90s, where they're like, oh, we're tough bruisers, and I understand it, but it's actually like it's like martyrdom, and we need to understand their accent. That's what Hatch is doing, and give them the Breathe Mask XR because it doesn't it doesn't take away your face, which is probably the worst thing about the putting a mask on. It doesn't touch your face either. You can talk. It also it slightly gently amplifies your voice so that there's not echo. Oh, you can't hear what I'm saying when I'm wearing it. I mean, clearly people can, but we're going to magnify it in a wonderful way with a little filter that takes out the pops and whistles. And so people like respect, they're like, oh, someone's wearing the breathing mask. And they're like, oh, thank you. You're just checking out your groceries or whatever. But anyway, oh, it's essentially like a recording studio right on your head. And I'm saying it's not like we need to put a recording studio on people's heads. No, it's like XR is essentially a couple different cameras that would be required to make a streaming service that would give people a gratuity check if they they have really popular, funny conversations with their friends, and their little icons show up on their faceplate. Sitting at home, you can feel the nice fan. You got your thing plugged in. It's really nice feeling, and it's cutting edge. Yeah, it's gonna be great. So it's a huge revolution right then. All right. So before I get out here to perform for you guys, I want to make sure that I'm doing my best, which means the correct balance and everything. And I apply to Zen. By dropping the stick, you're escaping the technology that is trying to access humanity because the sort of passive elements are a blank parchment. Like when you take you grab onto a fist of stones and toss it, and the way they litter and fall, that's like Zen perfection. And that's really how you can escape the human condition. Oh, if you harness your soul and apply it to the resound of the truth. I'm on the fact, and that a lot of that. So the wordsmith and the application to the physics is a really critical thing. Having wordsmith alone, that's not what Hatch is doing. He's also a sorcerer. He knows how to do that. And uh, if it's amazing how the universe and reality will respond to you. And Trey Parker definitely has that with the South Park curse. He has this resonance with the world. The Wear map has given me total confidence in Trey Parker. I know he is the one. It's just he needs to wake up from a coma and start saving lives instead of waiting longer, which is only killing people towards Armageddon because the children have no representation. They have no hero. So we produce a hero, and then my first product is the Breathe Mask XR. Okay, so how do we get people to be excited about this? We need a stage set. Oh, well, okay, but Hatch is this realist, and he's also a sorcerer, so we need this house. We need land acquisitions, and so it's actually really exciting a production where we're talking about global survival, residency, how to get into it, how to perfect it. Because what these guys are saying is that people, when they are affected by a tidal wave of diamond planet, laser, spirit 545, oh, the handwork and the sense of time from another planet converted over here, like, oh, that's going to help Earth to understand what is going on in this year and this hour. The rocks maintain the sense of time, and the human condition is trying to, like, oh, we're leaving Earth. Yes, we'll go to the yellow planet. Let's go to the dead planet. Let's go to Mars. Like what? Like people have like they had a good idea, but eventually they start acting crazy. Like all right, so I'm seeing that sort of thing, and oh yeah, my challenge is to maintain my ship and keeping, like, I'm concerned about um, industry burnout. Basically, my plan is to just always do my best, have horse blinders on, and attract to me the people and keep the people with me who I know really feed me up and keep me going and encourage me to work hard and do my best. Right? That's my plan. And like I'll have like big on one of the walls I'll have a mural where it's like don't burn out. Keep working hard. Keep those horse blinders on. Like hey, I do that. So amazing thing in my kitchen. So I do the lazy thing, Susan, and I put it on there, and then I go like this, and then what it does, epidermal goes, and the mirror of the center line of your body is accessed to cause a like an exoskeletal, and then up to your epidermis, and you've upgraded your eigenfrequency of the day. So each day is like a blank parchment. It's sort of like rebirth. It's like, why do we fall asleep? Because of loyalty to the sun. You know, traditions such as this, we sleep during the night because we are loyal to the life-giving sun. Of course, the rays of the light give life to all of our planet and are able to, certain levels of the light go right through the earth. So very much the aura of the sunlight unifies the entire heliosphere. So the sort of timing belt can't be denied. It's not just Earth. It's also like the sun is like Jupiter's having that nightmare again about the Armageddon, and so the Earth is like, fuck. All right, we're gonna do this pandemic. I'm sorry. All right. Well, we, we're tough on to Earth people. All right, you guys, you need to produce the Breathe Mask XR because that's the best way. The Earth isn't saying, oh, here's the pandemic now, a bunch of people have to die. No, it's like design trial, design crisis. Oh shit, we want to keep living here. Okay. So that's why Trey is the chosen one, because now he's like, oh, I have to produce hatch urgently, but it costs millions of dollars. That's what I fucking do, you brat. I am a producer. I am not scared about that. He's right. Oh, so 3 million and then we get 50 million. I understand. That's like inconceivable amounts of, oh, that's a very good deal. All right. And I understand you guys are like, hey, when we're listening to you, that's us being our fullest professional self. And you need to appreciate that. I do. But do you guys appreciate yourself? Or because your spiritual thing goes up to Jupiter and goes, well, actually, I've been ignoring the gatekeeper. Oh, really? So you're going to waste some more time? Okay, so like you guys are intuitive to the sunlight, but don't get hijacked because Jupiter's having a nightmare. So you guys are going to be a petri dish and an example of yourself, or can you be a hero and be like, I am the angel of light. I have a soul. I live on Earth. I have common sense. Apply. Boom, produce hatch. Boom, produce hatch. Boom, produce hatch. And we're gonna get Trey's hidden crown, whatever it is, because it's like it evolves as a well, and it's not like a metaphor for destiny. It's something that only Earth can do for residents. You guys, and but the reason why Jupiter would make you look like, well, first of all, there's no gains from possessing you guys, then we'd be like a diamond planet. So if Jupiter possessed you and forced you to produce hatch, there's no actual identity behind the curtain. There's no triumph of the soul of mankind. So for you to align like that, but also Jupiter would allow you to be a petri dish because the work of hatch is vital. Look, here's the master source right there. So, Hatch has been working really hard, and every time he's like, oh, they don't want to talk to me yet. Okay, well, I'm gonna start working on this, and the Earth is like, oh, that's really good for our source code. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. So, but also I have like a sketchbook where I draw like, sort of nucleus where I sort of circle, and I'm like, inside of this circle is sort of the entire performance and all the things that we want. And then I sort of fill it in, and when I fill it in, it sort of creates the circuit board. If you go on to like an atomic level, what was the intention at that time? And then it comes up to the size of the waking state, and then I can use it as technology. And so like my aura has this like enhanced thing, which means that like I'll be blessing people all the time and they'll come around to, you know what, I do have a good feeling about it. And I understand the rhythm spikes, like you get excited and then you spend it over here and then you're like, oh, what, you're still applying to us? I've already reappropriated your energy and wasted it. So that's what you are. That's what you are, is what I've done to you. Like, whoa, you guys have this weird thing about, yeah, well, you guys know, you guys know. But suffice to say, I'm not feminine. I'm a stallion and I'm consistent. And you guys think that women are like a storybook, like, oh, it didn't really work out at the beginning with Hatch. So I'm, you're like, you're kind of treating me like, um, you're not appreciating that I'm a stallion. There are physics of the women that is similar to a storybook because she doesn't have a Y chromosome. And we are under the parable of not our way, God's way, because the X and the Y chromosome are both being infected through the with an ancient plot, and a lot of humans are like, "That's our physical destiny." No, actually, you're supposed to. Oh, it's supposed to this other thing. But we have all these martyrs and a bunch of evidence. After the deadlights rose, the Earth was like, "Now I will address the residency," and that's what happened with the Ware map. So Trey is the chosen one of society to choose the alignment with Hatch. And I think we're right on time. You guys think this is exactly what we want to do. And I've done those sorts of performances where I've only explained the product, only explained the atmosphere, only explained the characters, and I showed you my heart. This is really what I want to do. Millie, the Howling Twins, the Green Wolf, the Clockwork Man, the Alicorn Stallion, all these characters are going to bring it to life and in such a wonderful way because we're going to see Hatch literally teetering, teetering with like when he gets to be the characters and he's talking to his own performances and stuff, and we'll have some female like sprites and angels that are sort of like or that like there's a sculpture with a painting behind her and she has like some limited movements or and she can say a little thing, right, so that there's a female presence there. But I'm looking for the ultimate attraction, you guys. So Hatch is authentic about this American family, and we're going to all see it on the stage, and that's what I want in my true love, is someone who wants to you know be naked in front of everyone for the sake that we love Earth and humanity, and this is what we do and what we want to do. It's and that's important. It's a good season for we're producing Hatch. He's got a big it'll probably take me less than a year to find that that female. So I'm really excited, you guys. But so anyway, the Breathe Mask XR is my first product. It's going to go beta. This is gonna People are gonna be like, where did this come from? Like this guy is just animating from his house. That's the way we want it to look. We want it to look like that. Like, oh, this guy just sort of is performing these multiple characters from his house, and that's as much as people know about it. But his first product is about these characters who are working to open up Master Source Industries. Welcome to Master Source Industries, you guys. Boom! So powerful. You guys are like my best friends in the universe and in existence. You don't know how much I love you because you have millions of dollars to spend on me. Thank you. But together we can save millions of lives. Between the men is the camaraderie. Yeah, we've got this kind of compromise. Oh, yeah. I think that's the human condition in junk DNA thing. Oh, really? That's why we have exoskeletal examples of the thing. Oh, you're giving us an electoral college? You're not really giving us a choice. You're not even listening to what the child is saying. We're the ones listening to the children. So we're a greater father than you are. Freaking remote hang. But like I digress. Like you guys seriously, on this beta level where I'm making this video and we're talking, let's try to understand the inspiration because you'd be like, well, watching Hatch, yeah, it did get me excited. Hatch is doing something to me. No, dude, I'm not doing something to you. You're actually hearing the new mankind, and then you censor it. That's terrible. All the children going, oh, our hero, our hero. I feel good. I'm gonna make my own project. Oh, what were you saying, Hatch? I don't even feel anything anymore. I guess I outgrew you. Yeah, just because you assassinated all those children and their voices cheering, crying out. You guys have the wrong societal grafting, which means you're like, oh, Hatch does something to me. No, dude, I wasn't attracted to your seed. Do you forget the wear map? I can't get suckered in by that. Oh, so we'll have to wait till 2021 for you to save the world. You guys, perfect bullseye. You're going to save the world, save the universe by producing Hatch. Because Hatch is perfect circle, the entire thing diagonally, bubble up all about. And I create the templates of Fulragon, which is basically the, 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 the greater thing that overtakes a lot of people. So, because the truth can be ascertained, right? I'm sorry. All right, coffee burps. Oh, I want some more coffee. All right. So I do the lazy Susan thing. That's one of my favorite things. It's gotten quite complicated. It gets more and more things on it, and that I need to communicate with a little bit. But it's sort of like a feeling of progress and growing like that. But I also have this big painting, which it had a big circular face. And over a while, I remember one time I looked over and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's my South Park character." Yeah, big circular face, and I was like, "Oh wow, I've been working on that painting for years and years and years," and suddenly I saw my little South Park character. I was like, "No." Um, but I also have a communion with that painting, and recently my all my paintings got advanced. I brought out some sunshine yellow, and it really brought things out. I couldn't believe how powerful yellow was. It's just like it gives us a total misty moor to every color. Every color becomes like more complicated there. I think usually I think of yellow as sort of a negative. I try to use the more enlightened colors, purple, blue. Blue is I love blue. It's like crazy. Blue is crazy. But here on Earth, like green is the most misunderstood color. People think like green is weird. Really, it's the center of the rainbow. They're just like, yeah, you know. So I work on that. I work on that, and then I have from it was gonna get thrown away, but this little toy from my grandfather, this little balancing thing, and I spin that to activate the arm of Cape Cod, which controls the planetary time, and I activate the nucleus that I've created for the performance, and I make an NTF with you guys, and we're progressing humanity. We're actually becoming smarter souls. So it's not just the wordsmith. It's like a couple different things you need to do to really feel the acceleration of your soul. And it's a lot of dedication, and what we want. Producing Hatch means we're going to see a completed wizard. Like Hatch is a very advanced individual. Why is he so motivated to work on himself? He loves doing that, and people are just going to pick up the osmosis. And I think it's going to be a renaissance because people are like, I like to take myself seriously too, and I'm like, go do it. It's free. Woof. Excellent. Yeah. So yeah, I do a lot of work there, and I talk, and my paintings is sort of a meditation, and I've recently, all my characters are saying we're going to 55 Putney, and I'm just really excited to be working with you guys. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. What was the other two stories? It was the bowler cap, and then the methods before working, and then something else I was saying, but I'm gonna drink some more coffee. Let's look at some slides for a minute. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate your time and energy. Yeah, this is a really good venture, and I'm so happy to give Trey Parker 50% of the Breathe the Mask XR because it's a huge company. We have to begin by getting the prototypes built, but as soon as the first wave of prototypes is getting produced and available to people, we're talking about making an even bigger progression towards factory, yeah, towards having our own factory, and half of that will be South Park. So you guys can anticipate with that factory building, you guys can start developing your own plastic toys, your own bottle stuff. I'm interested in bottling. I have some ideas on bottling plants for various beveraging. It's very spiritual, um, but also kind of natural to the garden environment. I really enjoy spending time with you guys. It's very interesting. All right, so let's try to stand on like the perfect completion in the future. Like I want the best part for me. I want me to have. I have to fulfill my life. I have to complete this thing. And working with Hatch is part of that, you guys. I'm so glad we're friends. I'm so glad that we can work together. Please understand that this is mutual gains. We're gonna work together. Hatch is what are all these pictures in Hatch's life, and he sort of had to figure it out himself. Oh yeah, here it is between you and me. Here's the glory of existence. Here's the cheat sheet. There's no, between us when we're communicating, you guys, this is the power that we can save millions of lives. This is very exciting. So try to understand that energy, embrace it, and try to understand the voice of the children who are like, I really, I'm protesting the environment because you guys need to change. You guys have all the money. Why don't you understand what Hatch is saying? All right, the Breathe Mask XR needs to be made popular. All right, so this is the location, 55 Putney, and I mean it's exciting to think that all right, we're producing a cartoon, and it's about this guy. Oh, well, one of the costs is $1 million. Okay, all right, okay. Trey understands that. And he says like that's perfect because so the house is the set. It answers so many questions, and what I'm gleaning about this is that the Earth will be very happy because it returns him to something of a type of armored estate. Imagine when I was a baby, the sun and the earth were like, oh, make sure he'll be safe. We have to, oh, all this, he's gonna have to figure this out. So there's like a lot of like interesting uh, aluminum document. The earth is very rich in aluminum, so there's a lot of power documentation of my relationship with the earth here. Of course, it's right on the bosom, and I want to build into this area and then I want to get all this, and then I want to open up a public lever it downtown up here, and then have factory and sort of it's sort of there's like a there's a the school we have like a college and we have a training center. We have like revolutionary training center. Yeah, we're raising up warriors and but a lot of that stuff is on virtual reality. It begins that way, sure, but people end up wanting to go and visit. But um, with any rate, here's the lake is the cherub, and so like my action. Okay, but all right. The Breathe the Mask XR is the urgency, you guys. We need to respond as rational adults. We need to show people charisma. The CDC is a lying whore and keeps on saying these fucking retarded things. I'm disparaged by the news. The headlines are all typoed and said in some crazy language because the kids are protesting the environmental crisis, and it breaks the fingers of the reporters when they're saying something incongruent and something that's self-defeating in the very title of it. You understand why I'm saying Hatch isn't mad? What's going on out there is mad, but that doesn't mean you accept it. You rise above it and you defeat this media extravaganza of feeding frenzy, talking about things that have already happened. But what Hatch is talking about is the future, talking about something we can apply to and help. And that's what's alive. And the news isn't as the news should be is mistitled. You understand? The news is not the news. The news is the old. The old. Hey guys, welcome to the olds. We're going to tell you about what already happened, and you can't do anything about it. So just inflect on that with each other about some hopeless conjecture. The news is retarded. All right, perfect clockwork. We are here. Let's align our snow. Whatever the thing is that you guys have, it's fine. Welcome. All right, you guys. The hidden crown. Yep. So Trey has a hidden crown. The gravity of Earth has been clarified by the Deadlights Rose. Now I know that you guys, time works differently with Hatch. It's Earth resonant Hatch. So basically, the Ware map found its destiny alignment when connecting Hatch to Trey Parker. And my dedication to the fractal and to Earth is what drove my commitment to apply with Trey. And I know that traditionally you guys might say, and yes, that was very charming at first, but over a while, okay, it became a little bit weird, guy. Yeah, well, now we need to save people's lives, and Hatch is revealed as a great hero. Oh, he has a huge dick? Okay, now I need to rethink my whole thing about him because I thought he was a scrub. All right, well, update your fucking senses. And the reason I didn't send you guys a picture of my dick anytime sooner is because I had no provocation to do so. It was just I was lucky that I had a friend in the world who wanted to who would so anyway, Master Source Industries kicking your ass. Trey, Master Source Industries is going to continue to grow. The industry image, it can contain multiple company LLCs. And so the Breathe the Mask XR is an LLC, but it's going to completely mobilize South Park into a new brand, and deservedly so. Deservedly so! For the act of producing Hatch. So you can see there's imperceivable gains. Oh, a hidden crown, yes. There's a lot of extra values when we produce Hatch. I've done the work on the CGI. I go out as a stallion first, and I work on that, and I've sort of gleaned all the physics because the female incarnation of the CGI character is much more delicate and difficult to house correctly because of a lot of stuff. Like the concept of computers, CGI might be confused with physicality. It's like an oversimplified physicality would be kind of like the wrong education, which leads to a hack port, which is very much junk DNA and a like we had like the ghost butter from the diamond planet isn't easy. We feel very relaxed. Just take it easy, guys. Have a siesta. Like humanity is way too chill. You guys are way too relaxed. You're like, I'm not seeing heroes rise up. I'm not seeing people be. I'm the. People. Okay, it's okay. I'm not complaining. I think what it actually is, literally, is that we need to produce Hatch, and Hatch is this precursor that makes all that happen. He's a leader, a natural born leader. That's my name. There's a lot of human traditions that are very good and that have blessed me throughout my life. But the old wolf, who is the human, sees it out of the corner and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's almost inappropriate." But I know that that had come from the hearts of millions of people. Like they're like, "Thank you for the New York City cognitive circuit board. It's awesome." But it's sort of it almost like warped part of my. It's like too much of a because for some humans they have a hard time recognizing their identity, so they have a weird kind of thing where before they're famous they'll be hogtied by a human, like they'll drop the elbow on someone be like, you are going to be famous later, so that's why we're here punking, like, and I don't know, I had to go through all that. It's fine. I had to grow up, and but the old wolf of humanity, from the corner of Hatch's eye, is they're like, Hatch is really smart, really fast, and fast enough that the old wolf is like, oh my god, like the humans are underwhelming, and also they're being defragged, or what's it called? Hydrofracked. Okay, okay, okay. It's called a humbug. So there's a humbug that it's like, oh, like critically, all you guys need to do is produce Hatch, and we'll have the whole thing. But like in throughout my entire life, it was like zombies, and it's really weird because I'm very I I'm very I love women. I'm an artist. I'm very sensual. It doesn't make sense but there was like a real problem in the 90s, and it really nature does have a way of sending the appropriate female to land on that stallion, and what nature was telling me was like, it's not time for you to do that because we're getting by this diamond planet bullshit. And that's a whole story because the diamond planet explains that humanity doesn't know how to interpret the evidence that they're seeing. Um, but I was able to, in the twilight of mankind's confusion, because I was attacked, also humanity was attacked, but we have different responses to it. And I want you guys to be enlightened about that, and because all my work with you has definitely made you guys stronger. So armor up from within, health armor update. You need the alternators that drive out the wrong eigen frequency, like a little plant that makes a sound that causes cancer. We're gonna kill that. We're gonna kill that little sound that causes the formation of a cancer. And we're gonna kill it out of our body, and we're gonna own that alternator. We're gonna put it in our skin on the inside. We're gonna wear it like clothing. We're gonna pinch ourselves. I pinch me. I'll pinch myself. I shake, and I update my soul and I change it. I say I'm immune to that sound of sickness or disaster. All right, that's how you truly become psychic. But tomorrow when you're not expecting it, you're gonna be like, oh well, I'm gonna go outside today, and then oh, you dropped your keys. Why did you drop your keys? Because you had done work on yourself the previous day. But because you dropped your keys, then you didn't have that accident. Okay? So that's how it fucking works. You have to bless yourself, and then you might not even know when does my blessing come to fruition. But because you've done it to yourself, you're in control of your own timeline, becoming a greater man and leading this society and building it up, you guys. It's awesome. So uh perfect circle, you guys. All right. I'm gonna spin my little. There you go, Grampy. I got a lot of loyalties. That's my grampy on my mother's side, and my grandfather on my father's side. I also worked with him. I created a disc, a circular disc that comprises all of the work of your lifetime hands into a single suit of robotic technologies. And I tricked my grandfather into using this template. And I said, Grampy, I made this work of art, and I worked on it for a long time. It's actually an ascension robot so that because he was getting very old, and so when he goes into heaven, all the work of his hands, because he was a mechanic, and he was also a brilliant artist with copper, and and he did a lot of stuff. But he was a comedian, and a bus driver, and an airplane mechanic. At any rate, so I said, so make a copper circle and then punch out the design that I put into this paper onto the copper wheel, and he did it. And my son, it's in the family, and then I also had my dad make one also, but in wood. And so the three generations, and I also have one. So the entire work assembly of your hands turned into like a sort of like robot, like oh yeah, I remember when I was working on that engine. That's nice. I like that, because those things are really useful. And people's sense of the problem with the ghostal thing, and what is the update of the arrival of the gatekeeper. It means that we're bridging into the permanent documentation, which in the past it was a sort of ghosty feeling of like, what happened to the past anyway? Like, does the past not happen? So there actually is the Earth is traveling through space and it's all full of aluminum. So actually the line is yeah, rich with the document. It's very complicated, and also the Earth is spiraling like this, and so the recording tracer of the Earth traveling through the universe is comprised like a ray of light, or like a sequence of DNA, on like 12 ribs on your rib cage. As a sequence there, and the pattern of 12 is a powerful to the time travel. The problem of junk DNA is the impasse to our time. And so I'm seeing people being a little too sleepy. They're getting infected by a diamond planet laser beam. Of course, it wasn't a diamond planet at all, but that's what the scientists thought it was. And they were all excited. We found a diamond planet, but actually they were just sensing the light of a laser beam that was directly aimed at them. And so they had misinterpreted the evidence, and I was able to understand it beyond them, even though they're stupid scientists, right? So, and a couple other things is just like, but the Earth told me, Hutch, your arrival makes those UFOs look like an illusion. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Earth is the boss kingpin planet of the entire universe, and is traveling towards what was identified by we're leading towards the center gravity line of the vertical standing erection of the universe, and the horizon. But when those two things interact, cell division causes cell division 4, 8, 16, and that's heaven's dawn for the entire universe. Now, the holy planet is the fractal planet and has the fractal sounds different on the outside in the universe than it does when you're resident inside. And we only have that perspective of the inside, and we're not being communicated to properly because they want to take advantage of a child who is, oh, I don't know what's going on, but unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. And Hatch is the sort of one who's going like, oh shit, and he's fixing it, and he's trying to work with society and all this. All right. At any rate, in order to have the bedrock of moral correctness about like who who is the big identity of this creation existence, basically, that would be determined on Earth. And to have the moral bedrock, the universe has a type of invitational, of a design trial where the UFO. Other planets would be able to call up the Mandelbrot fractal, and then when from their position, it's like a sonar where they're like, oh no 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 no, oh no no no. Why is the Mandelbrot telling us in this direction? Why does it do that? Oh, it leads to the holy planet. Okay, but that invitational ended about a million years ago because of the colonization of residency. So we're all on templates here, you understand? Anyway, the pilgrims became sick while they're traveling, and that's not naturally predicted. They had a tragedy. So the universe isn't like, oops, I wasn't supposed to invite moral correctness to my conquest of space and eternity. Okay, because the hatched heliosphere eggs are actually creatures with the capacity to bend space itself, but that's way beyond our rationale because we're actually um, and the electric promise has been compromised by Junction A. So a lot of humanity, like being a petri dish, is actually a more enlightened form than being like just an asshole. But I'm saying go beyond being a petri dish, produce hatch, because the Breathe Mask XR is a social revolution, and Earth is like, Trey, I'm not asking you to throw away money or anything. Hatch is great. He's an American stallion. This is worth millions. Please, this is good business. Earth is like, I will absolutely make this popular, you guys. Especially when we have this type of thing. Oh, this is a produced cartoon. I'm not triggered by that. This is the best way for you to nurture humanity so that they can have a good first kiss relationship with Hatch. I have full confidence in Trey Parker to produce Hatch. He understands that the reason there's urgency is because people are the Delta Plus. Yeah. So the production cost, it's unique in a way that makes us feel magical. And I'm telling you, it is magical and that the Earth is going to support this, you guys. But it's like, I do need the relief of these characters and stuff so people can be enchanted and blessed and find their place with the Green Wolf or with the Alcorn Stallion or the Dragon King. Or then I hung out. The Dragon King is an amazing character, bringing together so much in the universe. And the vampires, yeah, residency of Earth. The Demon King, a free spirit. But they're twin brothers, so they really balance each other, responsibility and freedom. But how they choose to wield that is really the miraculum of their identity. So it's not just something I've made up. It's just the definitions of their kingdoms are different. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this. Master Source industry continues to grow, and it gets larger and larger. I think I will have like assembly plants in a different state, maybe, but sort of the nerve or the think tank environments, a lot of the streaming service activity and a lot of the boss things happen in the Leverett location, and the Leverett location is like that's where my it's really a powerful location for us to have our revolution. And it is a societal revolution. And we're going to just do this with ease and just cycle around like this, and we'll end the temptation to invasion because they basically, uh, uh, just trust me. Um, we can. The reason we're having this pandemic is because we are before the flood, because there is hope. The reason that we're having this uh, turbulence, this echo, the reason that's happening is because there's hope. And I know it doesn't feel that; it just feels bad and it's upsetting. But we are the solution because we are the men. We have to parent the women and children. That's good and natural. Sexist. What? I'm not talking about holding the door for someone. I'm talking about catching the baby for it was fell off the thing and I caught the baby. Or the lady was someone was attacking the lady and I said no and I protected the lady. Sexist. Oh, I see. So the men are cut down like this. The men have no what? The men are very powerful. Produce hatch, you guys. Don't call me old fashioned. You haven't seen my shtick with them yet. The echo with the audience is going to be a totally different macaroon for macaroon. Yeah, okay. Thanks, you guys. The wizard's table is all prepared. Everyone's being respected here. You guys commit hard to this. I guarantee you're going to be so happy and grateful that the wear map that Earth has chosen Trey. It proves that you guys have done great work with your nucleus. Your circle of friends is more important than any other country and any other group. The South Park group is blessed, truly. You guys have an enhanced perceptual concept, so jettisoned that I could recognize the ear markings of a true champion. Trey Parker. This is a reputable Mormon connection. Totally awesome. With a snipe of, you know, Colorado consumerism evolving into some sort of Brentwood aficionado trying to escape, the problems of the world. American. Thank you guys so much. I'm asking you to urgently produce Hatch with your greatest gusto because what's the schedule? Oh, it's because we need to save lives. So that's the best reason to have an urgent schedule. And what's good about Hatch's plan is that it's we have to spend some money. Okay, spending money, spending money. I know. And thank you guys. That's your job. That's your side of it, and it earns Trey 50% of this huge industry. Breathe Mask XR. It's going to be a social revolution. I was thinking about it before I was performing, and it's something about the bowler cap that I was saying. People are like, it's way cooler. It's not heavy, you guys, and it also like it's resting on the crown of your head. It feels like you're wearing a hat. It doesn't feel like you're wearing a mask at all. It's really interesting, and you can talk to your friends with it, and it's basically the perfect because um in in the city areas you just even if you have a mask on, you're interacting with the sneeze of various people who are like, I'm able to walk around but they've actually got like some sort of a level of stuff going on. And like what if I mean like what would be terrible is if what if there was another evolutionary phase beyond Delta Plus, like this thing is designed to continue evolving. Oh my gosh, well we really need to breathe the mask XR. I'm not predicting that 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 this thing can mutate beyond Delta Plus. I'm not saying that, but I'm not sure. It's just I think it becomes common sense a little bit later that people are like, it's just like for a little while we're dealing with this pandemic, we need to protect the next generation of children. And if we're really going to sweat this off, if we're really going to survive this as a people, we need to be more mature about a breathing protection for its full time. I don't like going shopping even when I have my mask on. I just like I'm carting around. I can smell people's makeup, perfume, and if I can smell perfume, I know that on that perfume there's some amount of germs. Well, of course, it's worse if someone sneezes right. Oh God, right in my mouth. No, solid bar sneeze guard, armor up from within. Breathe the Mask XR, right? So yeah, it sucks if someone just breathes right on you and they've got it, and then it's smashed, and then you went to the hospital. No, you have to wear a mask and do all those things. Um, Yeah. Okay. So, what I'm trying to say is that like a year of kind of like I can smell other people and just like yum, 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 like in a city in a close knit environment. I think what we might find is in like 2023 we have this new thing called like the COVID shock. Like some people are just like tired and they're just like I just can't do what I used to, like or they have like there's like a new thing or something. You guys, this is just top. It's very on point. The Beta Mask is very good. It's also a gaming center that you can earn a living on it if you're really smart. Now that's intelligent. That's almost like that's the type of renaissance we want. Like artists are being paid for their value. We're transcending the conflict of the money by producing a Breathe Mask XR. It's a revolution where talented people get paid, and part of that is because Hatch is CEO of Master Source Industries. Okay? Because there's a different moral incline of everything that I'm talking about doing here. And a lot of companies, oh my gosh, like companies will release some sort of nice new energy drink, and then after a little time, change the ingredients. It literally tastes different. It tastes like crap now. Like what is there's some sort of moral, there's some sort of professional standing. It's complete bullshit about how to Skype people, how to make that dollar. And it's bullshit. I'm saying like money is about furthering society, it's about people. So the best way for our company to thrive is to be a blessing to people and to be an opportunity for people, not just or I only receive money. That's why I have a department of professional gift givers where we make an expensive, like, hand carved wooden box. He opens up, and there's this, like, ballerina, and it has a song. And then, on the back of the thing, when you open it up, there's a screen, and you can push a button, and it plays this really nice message. And it says, Hi, and all this. And we animated it and all, but it's made for one person, like the Queen of England, or Miyazaki, or whatever's relevant in the future, right? But this is the way I plan to raise a successful business. You need to have that, and that's why I'm CEO of Master Source Industries, and I'm so looking forward to being Trey's in a way protege of that because he's going to teach me about those earmark. Oh, that's a little too much. Okay, so thank you guys so much. Really appreciate your time and energy. Let's just focus on the immediate production. So we need to get Hatch into this building, break that arm. No, help her win the lottery, right? So a good experience there because she's an energy worker. So we have to kind of like, whoa, this, we have to get like our earphones on and like, like you gotta lockpick this situation because she's an energy worker. If we scare this thing, the meat will ferment and it'll taste terrible. No, I'm teasing you guys. I'm teasing. You know, it's gonna be great. All right, so but we get this house. That's wonderful because then that's the set. That's also where Hatch is comfortable working. Also, Hatch is going to have like a seminal uh, kind of quarantine working space there, which I'm looking forward to. And he's just going to be like working on this full time. Please, please, you guys, you need to escape the conflict of the human mind and be a unique person and understand that immediate production of Hatch is correct and professional. And so as a jettison happens, oh wow, Hatch, actually it's going to take a week for her to move out. Oh, really, a week? Okay. Well, then we're going to start budgeting with the characters that we're going to get those made, and Hatch needs to find some artists that he's comfortable with commissioning. So we have a big commissioning budget, and Hatch has got an assistant. We're working on some paper and stuff like that, right? But the whole maneuver here, would be great is if like some of Trey's people are like, a week is too, so like we have to figure, yeah, absolutely, like how, yeah, let's like figure out, give her a party and say like, we're gonna pay for the moving, you don't even have to worry about it, like well, let's give you, we're gonna help you like transition or whatever, or maybe she has some idea about where she'd like to go. But just explaining it to it that this is a production and they have a schedule because if she thinks if I don't expect it, but if she thinks that what you guys are willing to offer her, if she thinks that's not enough, I mean, honestly, it's Echo Lake. It's Echo Lake that is my power location. So I mean, we could try a different house on the other side. It's just like, but I'm just saying 55 is the magical place. That's where I grew up. There's just like, we get it, we get it, we get it. Okay, so it's it's really interesting, and I trust you guys to do this maneuver. You're the only ones who can do it. Thank you guys so much. Armor Up from Within, perfect design. But yeah, I'll be working, and even as we're working to open up that studio, get the graphical resources. That's when I'll be building the Breathe a Mask XR prototypes, and that's when I'll be able to have an exchange with Trey Parker talking about the CEO model best, the gentleman's best, and we'll start working on that level and start building up some actual 3D models as the size of the head, and there it is, and working on those different types of what batteries we have there's new types of batteries now. Yeah, they cracked that. All right. Exciting stuff, you guys. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. All right. Now let's have a big group hug. Only Trey Parker leans in. Sorry. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Hatch is the character to make it fun. And when we're doing that, we're spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Holy smoke. We're really defeating the crisis of humanity as a gentleman. Okay, because we're allowing Hatch it's diffused. Hatch isn't going like, I am the gatekeeper. It's like, because I was born innocently, those definitions are wordsmith almost. That doesn't mean that I'm powerless. It actually makes it more sharp. Because the reality falls into place. The perfect circle is like, no, like, oh, you don't like his wordsmithing? Oh, something even worse is what, if you understand what I'm saying. But it's not about Hatch like, I need to educate them about what I think it is. No. It's a relationship. And so, you give a little distraction and rip off the band-aid, it doesn't even hurt. Okay? We need to have that gentleman procedure. We need to get to work here, people. Thank you guys so much. Support Trey Parker as ethereal self. I know that you guys were blind regard. That was the best thing for you. Work, 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 work. Ha ha ha. Make him laugh. You guys did a perfect job. Trey Parker did not industry burnout. I know he is growing as an individual, and it's good. Like, a lot of people think that this is bad. It's actually good for Trey because he's like, oh, I have a soul. Trey's like really understanding that Earth is very important. Oh, that makes sense because of the comedy. Also, my echo with but all that stuff is going on. All right, so yeah, and thank you guys so much. So the sooner the better, and also, it's just I know it's perfect bullseye because I know it's perfect I'm not telling you guys to produce produce my like. I have to tell them what I think it is. No. Hatch is really smart like that. He's like, I just want to spend time with them, and I think it's gonna be wonderful. The curvature when I start doing when I have some like personal animations in a year, people are just gonna it's gonna be everyone in the world is gonna watch my Pokey Puppy cartoons, and it is beautiful art, and everyone gets a message. This is how I'm going to prevent rape and abuse in around the world because all my stuff is laced with you know subtle like calmness or the way things should be, the way things are, with the way things flow. I'm just hungry, like go out and get some food instead of like, going and attacking someone. It's just like common sense is going to reach the world because everyone's going to be like, what's this? It's like CGI Pokey Puppy. There's some nudity. It's basically my adult cartoons. That's when the entire world is going to see what Hatch is doing. And that's all. I just want to have a relationship and something intelligent, something good happens. There's a little cherub inside of the show, but it's an even dosage. Day by day, we're building a relationship, you guys. And Trey and I are very much a type of perfect, perfect design, the perfect prototype of that. And Trey is feeling the strain of the societal merging with Hatch, And so Trey knows all that. So Trey's gonna be my best advisor. I'm looking forward to becoming like best friends with Trey. So thank you guys. Really, let's support this. Let's push hard to make this happen. I know we've had a pattern here. Oh, we got to break that. Get away from feeling like it's okay to wait on my project because actually what you guys are waiting on is like other people's lives So we give them the Be the Mask XR that gives them self-respect. And they're like a, they, because it's like this wolf thing, and they're like, I'm cyberpunk. They're walking around at night. There's like gangs of them, and it's a big channel. People are watching, and they got fandom, and they're becoming their own characters. We have a whole support thing. It's like it's its own thing. It's gonna be great, you guys. Let's turn a tragedy into a party, and that's the best way for the gentlemen to save lives, to save the children and the women, is to do it with this grace of our Norn. For the light of Nelendi, the silver lining of Junktinei, is caused by our behavior and our hands-on application. Our ghost, you produce Hatch. You are the one who has produced Hatch. But until then, your soul does not have that vital. So you need to commune with yourself through time, make yourself like a tank, avoid hacking. I don't want to hack you. You have to make your own decision. Avoid hacking, but hear from your future self when after you had produced Hatch. You're like, what's it feel like? Oh, why should I do it? And then make a calendar, come back to here. Oh, I'm the soul that is before the producing of Hatch. I'm a temporal producer of Hatch. So I need to be that. Okay, I'm hearing from myself now. We love Trey Parker, and we're going to produce Hatch. Be the Mask XR's genius. Hatch is our boy. We're going to put him under our wing. Master Sinistry sounds great. We're excited for that. Oh, yeah, it's based on his avatar. Perfect. Hatch makes his avatar, changes the world. You guys, seriously. This is really the respect for the human as well. The template follows, people are like, oh, my drawings as a child became important to my soul later. Yeah, of course it did. So I work with those things that maintain those things, and I uphold that as a good father. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Wizard Sable, it is complete. Hey, thank you guys so much. I'm very grateful, but I need you to put it into overdrive. Oh, was the mouse there the whole time? Sorry. Thanks for getting through it with me, you guys. I really appreciate your time and energy. Springtrap Doggo preserves your wizard uh, Gringotts, the Wizard Bank. Yes, even though we have a feeling as if, that doesn't happen, actually, everything is immaculately recorded, all of our achievements. And, in the expression of a anatomy without junk DNA, there's a different feeling that helps you to negotiate, because you can't get overwhelmed with the spirit compiling. So there's a way of arranging it. Humans have something similar to that, but it feels more dreamy. It feels more like vacant. Like, no, the past like doesn't exist, and that's actually a pretty important philosophy. So it's not like wrong to think that. But at any rate, you guys, thank you so much. I really need you to do you guys. I need you to. Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. I'm really pumped, you guys. I'm excited. Hatch is going to be unstoppable. When we put him in 55 Putting Road, he's going to load us up. You guys, perfect design. We're going to champion this. We're going to perfect that. I love you guys. Health armor up. Merry Christmas.